Hello, welcome to FightCore USA.
When a fighter walks to the cage, they carry the hopes of their country.
Excellent.
That's why we put the flag on their back. It's no secret that fighting for your country is a huge honor. When someone steps foot into the octagon or the cage, they aren't just fighting for themselves. They are a national hero. They are an ambassador for their homeland. They are the best of the best from their country, and their performance will reflect on their nation. This might seem like added pressure for a fighter, but it's something most fighters embrace and use to motivate them in the competition. After all, when you have an entire nation cheering for you, you can't let them down. In this episode of Top 5, we are counting down the top 5 fighters who fight for their flag. Check out the list and let us know what you think. No, not 5. Israel Adesanya is one of the most electrifying fighters in the UFC today. This middleweight champion brings an aura of invincibility into the octagon. He has shown us that he is the heart of a lion and is not afraid of anyone in his division. But where did this Nigerian-born New Zealander get this confidence? Well, representing the land of the long white cloud definitely helped. Adesanya was born in Lagos, Nigeria, but moved to New Zealand at the age of 10. As a teenager, he was interested in football, basketball, and cricket, which are popular sports in New Zealand. However, he decided to pursue a career in mixed martial arts after watching the legendary Bruce Lee. At first, his family didn't approve of his decision. They wanted him to focus on academics rather than fighting. But Adesanya convinced them by passing his exams, and later became one of the most successful New Zealand-based MMA fighters of all time. Adesanya is currently riding a 9-fight winning streak. With his flamboyant style and trash-talking ability, he has captured the hearts of fans all around the world. But more importantly, he has done a lot to put New Zealand MMA on the map. When asked about representing his adopted country, Adesanya said, "New Zealand gave me everything. It's my home. It's where I grew up. It's where I learned how to be an adult. It's where I fell in love for the first time. It's where I found my purpose. New Zealand made me who I am today. So if I'm fighting, I'm not only fighting for myself, but also for my country." And that brings us to know for Georges St. Pierre. Few fighters in the history of the UFC have had the impact that Georges St. Pierre has had. This Canadian superstar was arguably the face of the promotion for several years. GSP was a true warrior who always put on exciting fights regardless of who he was up against. He wasn't flashy and often criticized for being boring. But GSP didn't care what people thought of him. He knew that he was entertaining those who mattered the most, his fans. In his 26 fights inside the octagon, he only failed on 3 occasions. Unfortunately, the last time we saw GSP was in 2017, when he lost the UFC middleweight championship to Michael Bisping. But before that fight, he was on a 9-fight winning streak with victories over Matt Hughes, BJ Penn, Matt Serra, John Fitch, Don Hardy, Thiago Alves, Josh Koscheck, Jake Shields, and Carlos. GSP is considered by many as the greatest welterweight of all time, and it's easy to see why. He was a dominant force in the division and held the title for a record 1939 days. He was also one of the most patriotic Canadians ever. GSP took great pride in representing his country and often sported the maple leaf in his walkout. When asked what representing Canada meant to him, GSP said, "I think when you're a professional athlete, you don't represent just yourself. You represent your city, you represent your province, you represent your country. It's a big responsibility, but at the same time, it's a privilege. And I take a lot of pride in that. And no." 3. Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes is widely regarded as the greatest female fighter in the history of UFC. She is a 2-division champion and has defended her titles a record 6 times. She is known as the Lioness, and she lives up to that nickname every time she steps foot inside the octagon. Nunes was born in Porto Velho, Brazil, and from the time she was 5 years old, she dreamed of becoming a world champion. She started training in judo and soon began competing in local tournaments. By the time she was 16, she was already a black belt in judo and had won multiple medals at international competitions. In 2013, Nunes made her UFC debut. In her second fight, she faced Miesha Tate for the UFC Bantamweight Championship. Although she lost that fight, she bounced back in a big way by going on a 7-fight winning streak. During that stretch, she defeated the likes of Ronda Rousey, which shocked the world. After that win, there was no doubt that Nunes was the queen of the UFC's women's division. And when it comes to representing our country, Nunes takes that very seriously. In an interview, she said, "It means everything to me to be a role model for young girls in Brazil. I want them to look up to me and say, she showed me that anything is possible. That's why I work so hard. That's why I put my heart and soul into every single training session. I want to make my country proud." And that brings us to our top 2, Alexander Volkanovski and Islam. These 2 warriors will go down as some of the greatest lightweight fighters of all time. Volkanovski is known for his incredible wrestling skills and granite chin. On the other hand, Makhachev is a beast of a lightweight who possesses a dangerous submission game. Both fighters have had their fair share of ups and downs, but they always seem to find a way to bounce back. Volkanovski was born in Sydney, Australia, to Ukrainian parents. From the time he was a little boy, he knew he wanted to be a fighter. He started training in judo and karate and soon began competing in martial arts tournaments. In 2012, he made his professional MMA debut and quickly rose through the ranks. In 2019, he earned a shot at the UFC Featherweight Championship. Although he lost that fight, he bounced back in a big way by winning the vacant title. Since then, Volkanovski has successfully defended his title 5 times. Makhachev, on the other end, was born in the Russian region of Dagestan. He began training in judo and wrestling at a young age and soon became one of the best prospects in the country. In 2015, he signed with the UFC and quickly made a name for himself as a submission specialist. In 2022, he got his shot at the lightweight championship, and in front of his home crowd, he defeated Charles Oliveira to become the new champion. Both Volkanovski and Makhachev are extremely proud to represent their countries. For these guys, it's not just about winning a fight, it's about bringing honor to the nation. And finally, at no 1, Francis Ngannou is one of the most feared fighters in the UFC today. This Cameroonian heavyweight has a knockout punch and can end a fight in an instant. He is currently on a 3-fight winning streak and is looking to make another run at the heavyweight title. Ngannou's story is an inspiring one. He grew up in poverty in Cameroon, and had to fight off lions in the streets to survive. At the age of 26, he escaped his country and traveled to Morocco on foot. From there, he made his way to Europe and eventually ended up in Morocco. It was there that he began training in MMA and soon caught the attention of UFC scouts. In 2015, Ngannou made his UFC debut and shocked the world by knocking out fellow debutant Louis Henry. He followed that up with a victory over fellow prospect Cyril Gane. Suddenly, the UFC's heavyweight division had a new star. Unfortunately, Ngannou's next few fights didn't go as planned. He lost back-to-back decisions to Stipe Miocic and Derek Lewis. But the Cameroonian rebounded in a big way by knocking out Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez in his last fight. He faced Cyril Gane in a rematch and once again proved to be too much for the Frenchman, knocking him out in the first round. Ngannou is a true warrior who represents his country with pride. In an interview, he said, "I feel blessed to be in this position. To be honest, it's a dream come true. Not only for me, but for my whole country. People back home don't have a lot of opportunity. So when someone makes it, it makes them believe that anything is possible. That's why I fight so hard. That's why I never give up. It's not just for me, it's for them." We hope you enjoyed this video. Friends, if you want to watch more videos like this, stay tuned.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.